And welcome back, All Sports West New York. Now in studio with us is Dan Kelly, Vice Chairman of Kelly for Kids. And I know you wear a lot of other hats too, literally. And I've known Dan a long time. And of course, he came into town with his brother. And the situation with Jim, his health, it's become a national story. You've been right there. So first, as of today, Tuesday, how's Jim feeling today?
Jim is doing good. I was visiting with him earlier today at the hospital. He gets out of the hospital today to go home. He now has a feeding tube in. The radiation treatment's been a little tough on him, and it'll get tougher over the next week or so. This way he's able to get all the vitamins and minerals that he needs to have the energy and to stay healthy and to fight off any infections and things like that. So he was joking about having pizza last night in his feeding tube, but he's really doing well.
You were saying once they put the tube in, his energy level
skyrocketed.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to eat that much with the radiation.
No, the radiation is really tough on anybody who's gone through it. Through radiation, especially in the face or the throat, it creates a lot of problems for eating because it gets really tender and it breaks down the cells, and so it makes it a lot easier for him to get all the vitamins and minerals that he needs. But he's doing very well. Dan,
and we've talked about this on the show. This really, to me, and I'm sure to a lot of people, is a surprise because we'd seen him in January. He'd been on the Fred Jackson show. We saw him at the Hall of Fame announcements on television when Andre got it, and he looked great. But obviously he was feeling a lot of pain that I don't know how much he was verbalizing to everybody, but he knew something was wrong.
Yeah, I think he could have won an Academy Award. Jim has never been one to show pain on the football field, in his personal life and things like that. He always wants to be that leader who leads by example, and he's not a complainer. But he was hurting, and it was getting worse and worse. And he figured that something wasn't right, and this pain was increasing. The good news is today, even when I talked to him earlier today, the fact that he doesn't have any nerve pain at all. It's a great sign. We won't know for sure if the cancer has been eradicated or not until he has additional MRIs and that done after the cooling off period, which will be in the next month or so.
The thing that people have to remember is while he's had this staggering pain in the jaw area from the cancer, this is a man who's had several back surgeries. He's had shoulder surgeries. He's had knee surgeries. And when you get to his age, when you get past 50, those things are ailments when the weather is such that bothers you regardless of any other problem. So it's not like this guy gets up in the morning, jumps out of bed. If he didn't have the cancer, he'd feel spry as a 25-year-old.
No, he had back surgery a couple years ago. Then he had neck surgery, double hernia surgery, and then cancer surgery, like 7 root canals. And then the cancer came back as well. So it's been a tough couple years, but he's getting through it. Just like they say he's Kelly tough.
Yeah, I'll say. Well, and due to social media, Jill and his daughter Erin have put out photos that have gone, viral, as they say, especially the one photo of Erin with Jim early on laying in the hospital bed. I mean, it really touched everybody. He's got a pretty remarkable family.
Yeah, he really does, and that comes from their Christian background and upbringing. And the picture that you were talking about, it had over 2 million views of it, and in 27 different countries. Peter King did a great article about where the people were responding from, and I was amazed. I do want to make sure I let everybody know, thank you so much for all the prayers and the cards and the well wishes and things like that. I know that Jim really appreciates it, and so does the entire family.
We have, I didn't see if they've used it yet, but Sammy Watkins paid him a visit Monday. Now, Sammy knows the Kelly family through your nephew Chad because they were together at Clemson, and there's the picture. Although Chad is in another picture, Aaron's in that one. But, Jill had put out on Instagram and on Twitter the other day during the draft that Jim was hoping they would draft Sammy. When they did, it actually kind of made him feel a lot better that night.
Yeah. Right before the draft, Jim was talking about, the Bills need to trade up to get Sammy Watkins. And Jim knows a few things about football, so I think that the Bills were probably looking at that all along, and they had talked about it previously about moving up to get someone. We all know that EJ needs some help at wide receiver, and I think it was a great move. And it was funny, Sammy tweeted out, he called Jim Uncle Jim. So it was. So he's a part of the family now.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, you were mentioning, and we'll talk more about the camp, but Sammy's going to come out to the Kelly camp this year.
Yeah, we're excited. He told Jim that it looks like he'll be able to make it to football camp. We're just going to try to coordinate some dates to make sure that can happen. I know the kids would love to see Sammy Watkins. I mean, my kids are so excited that they thought he was coming to our house last night, so they were home cleaning up, which is unusual for my kids. They won't do it when I ask, but they heard Sammy might be coming over, so they were all doing all their things to get ready for him.
Now, your family, your one son's a wrestler, right? Wrestles for Williamsville South.
North.
I knew I'd get
Football
that
and wrestling.
Football and wrestling. He's going to be a senior next year?
A senior, yeah.
I saw him at a couple of the tournaments. So, the whole Kelly clan, I mean, you guys, whatever you guys do, you pretty much do it together. Yeah. And Jim is going through this together. I see pictures of Ray in there. I see, of course, yourself. I see your brother Pat. I mean, everybody comes up, and it's not like everybody lives here. So this has really been, it's taken a toll, I'm sure, on your entire family. Not to mention your dad, who's no spring chicken, but your dad's seen Jim and your family go through a lot.
It's a family affair, and everybody helps out. There are some of the brothers who live out of town. My brother Kevin and I are here, so it's easier for us to get here. But we have jobs and we've got work, and try to give Aaron and Jill a break. My brother Ray's been up for several weeks. He's coming back again. It's nice he's retired, so he has a little more flexibility in his schedule. But it's nice. Jim was feeling well enough last week or 2 weeks ago to take my son Dylan hunting. Called in a nice big turkey for him, and he was able to get that. So that was a nice day for Jim and Dylan.
Last year Jim surprised a lot of people because he had just come off the surgery and showed up at your camp. We don't expect to see him at camp this year, though. I guess you can't rule that out.
I wouldn't rule anything out. We have the golf tournament coming up Sunday, June 1st, and Monday, June 2nd. He's planning on being there. And then football camp is July 9th through the 13th. Should have a great turnout. It's at Sweet Home High School this year as the Bills are going through a renovation process over there. So we won't be there this year. We'll be back there again next year. But if I was a gambling man, I don't know if you're going to be able to keep Jim away from the kids.
I'd be surprised. Hey, we're going to take a break. More with Dan Kelly right after this.